Hi, it's Valerie and welcome to your OT Coaching Tune-Up. Today I wanted to speak a little bit about how unconditional love is the death to the ego. What that ultimately means is that the kinder we are to ourselves and the more compassionate and empathetic and truly loving we are to ourselves, it really allows that negative catabolic energy to dissipate and we show up in the world lighter. And there's something so beautiful about it. So it's interesting because as a coach, I see people, and myself included, with this constant internal dialogue of that you're not enough or you're crappy or whatever. And I was recently hanging out with my friend, and over again, I would just hear her berate herself. She would put herself down for not being able to send emails that she thought were good enough. She would put herself down for feeling scattered. She was just getting so mad, and the whole time I was like, don't say that to my friend. And that's not how I wanted to hear her spoken to, because that's not how I think of her. And then I realized I do the same thing to myself. Like this past week, I had the opportunity to attend this incredible event with a bunch of social entrepreneurs, and it was amazing. It was amazing for me on every single level. To be in this room with 90 other intelligent, confident leaders, it was so fantastic. And at the same time, I watched and noticed these thoughts inside of me coming up, being like, you're not good enough to be here. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not this enough. And what I started to do was I witnessed that part of me. And I realized that in those moments, we have a choice. And I chose to allow that part to speak to me and acknowledge and validate it, because I knew it wasn't true. However, it was so deeply ingrained in me from my past. I chose to look at it differently. And what I did later on when I went home is I sat with and journaled with how far I've come in my life, the opportunities that I've had, and the places the things that I've done up until this point, and how far I've come in the sense of just my own self-confidence and as well as my career. And I realized that I actually am capable, and I am able to be one of them, and I am worthy of being one of them. So it's really in the way that we meet ourselves. So the first step is awareness, is catching ourselves when we start to treat ourselves like shit, whether that's internally or externally. And at that point, acknowledge and validate that way of being has been ingrained for a long time, and we don't want to just stuff it down. We want to really give it space to be held and seen. We don't want to feed it anymore. And then from that place, we reframe. After we acknowledge and validate, yes, that makes sense that I'm that way. How do I really feel? What's really true about this? And what do I know that I really want? And we can shift it, we can change it. So it's totally normal, it's totally common to have that internal dialogue. And if that is something that you are experiencing, give it a shot. Give us a shot at reframing, acknowledging, and validating, and see what happens. And of course, reach out at any time, organictwist.com for private coaching or any of the incredible events we have going on. And you're worth it. Just know that, remember that. And as always, expect great things.